All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We've got ourselves a big series here. It's BYUN in the bottom right side of the map, ZOUN in the top left. And it is the... Oh, what's it called? The Backers Brawl. That's it. The Backers Brawl qualifying final round. Best of 5 here. I believe this is a tournament hosted by WardiTV. I'm actually not too familiar with the Backers Brawl, but it was a series of replays that got recommended to me from the WardiTV replay pack that just dropped. And it's going to be really interesting to see because BYUN has recently hit that grind again after what seemed like a season, which I never thought we'd see. BYUN actually taking a break, right? He was not playing every single weekly tournament for a while. He wasn't grinding every single cup. And that's weird because normally that's what BYUN does, is just grind with very few breaks. And I think it's good to see him take an off season, take a little bit of a break, and now start to ramp up and get back into it because, I mean, his form returns overnight. It's BYUN. Like, he's always got the skill to get right back where he was. But I do think sometimes releasing the stress valve a bit can be very beneficial. Now, ZOUN in the top left is going for that double gas build. He's been doing this a lot lately. What's so cool about this build is it allows you to go for a sentry and go for a quick Stargate, which is really hard for Terrans to read because Terrans aren't scouting, right? So if they see a sentry, they assume, well, you're spending all your gas on early sentry. You can't afford a Stargate. But if you go double gas, delay your Nexus by about 20 seconds, as ZOUN does with this build order, you can do just that. This is such a cool build order. I absolutely love this. Now, for those who don't know, who is ZOUN? Why are we hearing about ZOUN and seeing so much of him recently? Well, ZOUN was a player who started getting to the competitive scene, not really as a pro, but just trying to become a pro about 2014, 2015 as a young lad. Started trying to qualify for things, and it wasn't until many years later when he finally started actually, you know, making big appearances. Like, he was on Prime. He got drafted for Prime for Pro League. Prime got caught for match fixing like a year later. You know, he won 1 or 2 big maps, which was really big in Pro League, but, you know, didn't really get to make a big name for himself. And then the fallout of that, I think put a handicap on his career for a little bit. And it wasn't until late 2019, early 2020, when ZOUN finally just came into his own, right? He just came out of nowhere, started performing really well, and established himself as a name, you know, getting 2nd place in 2 super tournaments in GSL. He got top 4 in a GSL super tournament, so many top 8s and top 16s in those GSLs. But unfortunately, he did, as a player who was coming into his own much later, age-wise, had to go do his military service. So at the start of 2023, after Katowice, he had to go to his military service. He's just been back for the last, I think, 2 months, and he is grinding. But not only is he grinding, he's just playing unique styles. And I feel like everyone else is not used to it. They're not used to seeing these styles that he's playing, and he's catching people off guard. Like, look at this. You see hallucination, you say, let's do a medevac mine marine drop. But he's already building Phoenix, and this is not what BYUN is going to expect. So I love this preparation for ZOUN. He's got the 2nd gateway in the front as well. A few Stalkers, a Sentry, maybe some Adepts as well, combined with 3 Phoenix. If you can have a 3rd Phoenix out by the time that medevac gets to your side of the map, you are going to get some free kills. It's going to be super juicy. That's a triple mine drop as well. Big commitment for BYUN. I've been criticizing Maru for still using this build. This build is very outdated. The reason is hallucinated scouts or early Stargates will see it coming every single time. And what's really cool, guys, is I've been talking to European pros about how I think Oracle openings are amazing in this matchup, and surely you must be able to do it. And a lot of the pros have been telling me, no, you can't. Clem will kill you before, you know, if you try to do it. Yet we're seeing the Koreans, especially Hero, doing a lot of Stargate, Phoenix, and Oracle openings recently. Now ZOUN here doing one as well. Oh my god, are we not pulling probes? What are we doing, dude? How greedy do you want to be? Man, luckily he only loses 3 probes there, but could have been nasty. I mean, I guess, you know what? If you react too late, it's better to not panic and just stand there. If he pulled his units, maybe he loses 8 probes. Losing 3, that's still a fantastic trade for ZOUN. For me, it's just, I never take chances with drops like that. I always pre-pull the probes, you know, I get out of there, but ZOUN is a top player. He wanted to play very carefully. Now, he's worried it might be Mass Widow mine drops. So notice he's got a Phoenix in the bottom left, Phoenix in the top right, and 1 in the middle. So he's double-checking, are there any follow-up drops? Because I don't want to fly across with my Phoenix and then get caught by some follow-up harassment. Oh, no, but he doesn't go down the edge. If he went down the edge, he would have caught that Raven. I thought we were about to see a genius play for ZOUN, but he checked most of the edges, and then he pulled them into the front. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, to be fair, it's still not good for BYUN. The Raven's going to run in, kill 3 or 4 probes, and then just die when the Phoenix come home. I think it's okay. It's just one of those things where if he caught the Raven going across the map, it would do literally nothing. right, Phoenix picking up the Marines. That is a juicy set of kills, but the Cyclone gets revenge. Does take out one of those Phoenix for those 4-5 Marines. Raven coming in. He's going to try and get it in the mineral line. Nicely done there. Good placement. Second one goes down as well. And of course, like we said, 3 or 4 probes. It is going to be 4. Oh my gosh, ZOUN! No! Oh no, ZOUN! Guys, Ravens can't recall. He did not need to click that Phoenix on that. It was always going to die eventually anyway, but losing a Phoenix, I'd say, is rather costly. He already lost one to a Cyclone, once on Reddit points. This is not the clean opening I was expecting from ZOUN. As he drops a second Stargate. What? Oh my lord, guys. Old school, old school. This is built from a few years ago. Probe has a guide on his YouTube if you're a Protoss player and you want to try to do it. 2 Stargate Phoenix plus Colossus, and then you would go Carriers back in the day. These days, you might go Tempests as a unit that can just siege everything down from out of range, but losing a few Phoenix does make it harder. He's got one Immortal, a few Gateway units there that could help out as well. Oh, Phoenix does get locked. Cyclone gets a bit of a damage beyond the shields. I think the Phoenix should go cutting around behind and go for the reinforce, but looks like he wants to track the army moving across the map, and that's fair enough. Cyclone can't chase too far from the army, otherwise he will get picked up. Yeah, I don't know if this will be Carriers because there's no fleet beacon. It starts off with just mass Phoenix production, so he's just going to keep pumping Phoenix, but he will probably get a fleet beacon and go Phoenix range, I would imagine. I mean, you often go for +1 air weapons with this build as well, but he's not actually using the second Stargate right now. 5th gas comes up. ZOUN very paranoid about what BYUN might be sending his way. But as this Phoenix clear up map vision, BYUN pulls back, starts to break the rocks. BYUN's 3rd command center is finished in the back. Is he on 5 racks? Yes, he is. 5 barracks, double engineering bay. He went the engineering bay is very delayed. Marauder gets picked up, has to drop there as the Marines stim to protect. How many medevacs are we on? Just 2 medevacs right now for BYUN, and I think you should absolutely be building 4 medevacs before going Vikings, but against this style, he might be tempted to just go straight into Viking production. BYUN's production strangely idle right now. You can see there, queues up a few Marauders, but no Marines building, no medevacs, no Widow Mines. And he goes for a 4th command center. That's why BYUN is being very greedy. He is not thinking about winning the game right now. He figures this map, it's impossible to kill a Protoss, especially with this sort of turtley style. I'm going to pressure, I'm going to scare him. But behind this, I am just macroing on up. He does his classic, starts +2 armor, then +2 attack, as he always hits the hotkeys in that order. And the fleet beacon and the base in the back goes up for a ZOUN. Zealot out front will get taken out by the Cyclone, Marine, and Marauder. Nice little, just stimming 2 of the units. Well done. Ghost coming out. Combat shield's almost finished. No air weapon upgrades, no Forge either. And this is where things can really hurt, because Colossus without Forge upgrades against 2-2 Bio, those Colossus are going to suck against anything that's not a Marine. They're going to do almost nothing to +2 Marauders. I don't like ZOUN's setup. I don't know, man. It feels like even the Phoenix are going to do no damage to things like Marauders if they have +2 armor. This is where things are going to get dicey. Forge goes down, +1 air weapon starts. So he realizes. I think he really thought BYUN was going to commit to a fight. This is what BYUN's always done so well in this matchup, is kind of sitting on the edge of attacking, of committing to a big aggression, and not quite going in. And it is Carriers, guys. Okay, first Carrier starts up. Second one starting up. A few more pylons on the way as well. He's going to go for the Carriers. Poof. Second starport, 3 more barracks building. Of course, second starport goes straight onto the reactor. Factory lifts off to build a new reactor there. And I wouldn't mind BYUN taking another base or 2, but I do think you should cap the SCVs at 74. Biggest mistake most Terran players make against Skytoss is they go too high on the work account, and then they take like an awkward front-on fight. I also think the armory should be used already. I think ship weapons and armor upgrades are so crucial. Units lost time, very even for both sides. That Cyclone, oh, EMP, half the Phoenix getting EMP'd, which means not many lifts are left over there. It's such a powerful ability, not only knocking the 60 shields off, but also taking away their ability to engage ground units is really big. Carrier left idling in the main. Hopefully ZOUN does realize that's there. Maybe that's a purposeful split to stop him dropping into the main base. Army goes down at the bottom. You're going to see ZOUN's entire army quickly try to get down here. He has to cancel this Nexus and run away. Enemy contact. I think BYUN realizes, oh, you must have seen me. How else did you know I'm here? The observers already moved to that right side. Doesn't catch the observers. 4 Vikings, ship weapons. All on the way for Terran. 3 carriers building, but they're not here. There's only 2 out at the moment. No Storm, and remember, these are 2-2 Marauders up against 0-0 Colossus. This is a much better army for BYUN right now, but does he have enough anti-air to deal with the carriers and get through things like the cannons as well? There's also 14 Phoenix, remember? I think you might have to give this base up as ZOUN. Doesn't feel good. Might be the best option. Energy recharge already got used, which means he doesn't have Guardian Shield available, and indeed giving up the Nexus. He's going to go forward though. Ooh, trying to punish the bio. ZOUN doing a good job. He's kind of baiting stims, shaving off units, not overcommitting. And he's going to build a 4th Stargate. 5th Stargate. What? He's going Skytoss, guys. 5 Stargate Skytoss. +2 ship weapons is on the way. Such an essential upgrade. He really needs to Chrono +2 as well. Going for Storm, potentially, as the Twilight Council does start. It's going to be a long time till the Templar Archives gets down, and Psystorm as well, though. Alright, guys. 3-3s on the way for Terran. Colossus, Carrier coming forward. That is a lot of Colossus. If they land on Marines, it'll be good, but there's just so few Marines. It's mostly Marauder, a couple Ghosts, and Vikings. A lot of Phoenix there. Trying to chase him down right now. ZOUN has a big, scary army, but the upgrades are in Terran's favor, and with 3-3 started, 3rd starport on the way, I think BYUN's wise to pull back and just look for the efficient and correct engagement. Question is, what does he need to add? BYUN doesn't really have any new units coming out, just 6 more Vikings. They're not here yet. EMP lands again. He's got to be so careful with this fight. He's low on EMP. Tries to take out a carrier. Gets a good volley on it. These Phoenix are going to make it so hard to shoot down the carriers, though. Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like these turrets are a little bit late. If there was turrets here right now, it'd be so hard for ZOUN to push in, but there's no way those turrets are going to get built unless your army moves in front to defend them. ZOUN, though, backs away, goes for charge, goes for +2, and the Templar Archive. ZOUN is going to play a long game, and this is one of the weird things about watching ZOUN. He's more willing to play a slow, methodical late game than pretty much any other Korean Protoss player. And this is from a guy who's very good with his timing attacks as well. And that's what I love about ZOUN. Very much like Classic in his peak prime. Not that Classic's still very good, of course, but like the flexibility, the range of play, ZOUN will hit these very good timing attacks, but he'll do just so many different builds. And it feels like when you watch ZOUN, I don't know if calling him the Gumiho of Protoss is fair, but it does feel like he has a very wide range. And a lot of players would feel like, I gotta go do some damage now. Not him. BYUN just killed 3 of his own Marauders, guys. He's using that supply to build 6 Liberators. Fusion Core on the way, and the 2nd Armory. So he's got +2 ship weapons there, +1 vehicle plating. Whereas there's no 2nd Cybercore, no 2nd Forge. And I think as ZOUN starts to float money, a 2nd Forge to start going Plasma Shields would be pretty nice. Of course, EMP is good, but I find as the game drags on, you'd be surprised how many times there isn't enough EMP to cover everything. Especially with the new modern 3 supply Ghost. That's 24 supplier Ghosts being chewed up by the supply now. BYUN's building more SCVs, realizing this is going to drag itself out. Building lots more command centers. I mean, it's good to build mass orbital to prepare for the late game, but I feel like what you want to do here is BYUN is now that you're committing to all these upgrades, you actually don't want to fight for 3 or 4 minutes. You want to make like 8 to 9 more command centers and then throw 30 SCVs away. So like, and then you don't want to fight until you've thrown those SCVs away, replaced it with army, and that's the time when you want to fight. But of course, this gives Protoss so much time to get prepared. Tempest building damage coming in. Stalker and an Observer moving forward. They get gunned down. BYUN has unlimited scans as he's already on 5 orbitals, 2 more morphing, so 7 orbitals will be there. Looks like killing a few of his own probes is ZOUN as well to squeeze out 2 Disruptors. Wow. Because he doesn't have Storm. No Storm. Okay, no Storm is a travesty because you know you're going to be playing against Mass Air. 14 Vikings, 6 Libs. Playing with no Storm is very problematic. Don't get me wrong, ZOUN was one of the best Disruptor users in late game PvZ especially. Back a few years ago before he went to the military. He was so good in the late game. He was so good, so methodical. But Psystorm is essential. I also think Phoenix might be a unit you want to throw away as time goes on. And that's always hard to say, right? Because they're normally such a good unit all the way through the early and mid game. They can give you so much efficiency and value, but is it going to be worth 26 supply, these 13 Phoenix in a big battle? I mean, the stats aren't too bad, right? 120 hit points on each, even after the EMP, but with EMP landing on the shields, the Vikings are going to gun them down. Their range is not that great. I don't think he ever got... Oh, he did get Onion Pulse Crystals. I know it's called Anion, guys, but you know. Onion sounds better. Makes your opponents cry if they're playing Mutalisks. Don't know if Vikings care too much about it. Advanced ballistics comes in, +3 ship weapons, +2 armor. 3 more command centers on the way, 4 more orbitals. That's going to bring him to 11 orbital command centers. BYUN may be in danger of going too high on this count. Disruptor comes forward, Liv's starting a siege on that front. Ballistics is not done yet. ZOUN's got Storm started up, Gravitic Drive, he's got double upgrades as well as +3 air weapons. And ZOUN's actually... Oh, careful, 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 careful. Okay, the Vikings try to come forward. This is such a weird position, though. Disruptor shot not quite able to land. Right side command center is in the open. If he can snipe those, that'd be big. This kind of forces him to engage. If he had a High Templar here, Storm would be massive. Phoenix carriers trying to fight against the Vikings and the Libs right now. BYUN coming in from that left side. Marines are stimming. He's got some ghosts in underneath as well. One of the carriers goes down. ZOUN might be overcommitted at this point. He's got a big bank, but he's kind of cornered himself up against the building. Some of his guys are attacking the buildings. They're not all fighting the army. Really good micro from BYUN to only engage a little bit at a time. On the other hand, his army's getting small. It's getting worn down. He's only got 11 Vikings left. That being said, there's only 4 carriers left as well. So this is a really interesting position. ZOUN's trying to continue this fight using these zealots coming in from the left to warp in. But oh, protect yourself at all times, Forgotten, as the 3 disruptors are left hanging out in the open. And of course, a swift kick to those does work for BYUN, taking out a lot of these units. How many carriers has he killed, guys? He's already killed 4 carriers, but he's lost 13 Vikings. But if those Colossus go down, oh, this is going to be problematic. Phoenix taking damage. Command center number 1 is going to burn. Big storm coming in. Big flanking storm on the bio. The Zealots rallying in is actually quite big right now. The 3-1 Zealots against the 3-3 bio. Obviously, massive upgrade advantage for BYUN. Units lost tab is 2,000 in favor of BYUN. If he can chase this army down, that could swing massively in his favor. It's already in his favor a little, but it could go massively so. And indeed, Colossus going down, guys. Carriers going down. It does take 2 volleys for the Vikings. Always nice, at least for ZOUN, that it takes the extra shot. The Stalkers will come in and get revenge. I think this is a good trade for these Vikings, though, as long as you get rid of all of those Colossus. And I don't think he gets rid of the last one, though. Actually, the last one will survive. Units lost tab, as you can see, 3,000 resources in favor of BYUN. Tempest and High Templar coming in. A more traditional late-game army, going to be the next step for ZOUN. 3 disruptors on the ground to support there as well. The only danger you run into is you want to make sure you have a little bit of meat and potatoes on the ground. Can't just rely on a few Archons and High Templar. You're incredibly weak to Ghosts. Then again, there's only 2 Ghosts right now. So right now, Archons are actually a very real problem for BYUN. Drops an EMP, lands it on those High Templar that were incredibly clumped. ZOUN can't be clumping those High Templar. He already used the energy recharge, won't be ready for another 30 seconds. The Skibbity Forest making it hard for him to engage without walking straight through those lib zones. Disruptor shots easily dodged. Stalkers blink forward. The Disruptors get taken down before the shots can land. The Vikings take out the Colossus. BYUN with a stunning engagement. And I think ZOUN here should have given this base up. Oh, wait! High Templar comes in with a storm. Nice storm, nice storm. Tempest will take care of the Vikings. Only 1 Tempest goes down. Big Zealot Warping might turn this fight in ZOUN's favor. This was an expensive trade for ZOUN, though. And this is why BYUN, I think, perfect with draw timing. Just boost those medevacs out. Get those guys home. And I think you're in a really good spot because he's got turrets and towers building forward in the middle. He's going to try and secure a new base, which he will need. But right now, minerals. 4,500 minerals a minute. Of course, he's just dropping mules, isn't he? Yeah, mules all over these gold minerals. The middle base. As long as BYUN keeps having a new base to mine from, those 13 orbitals are going to give him unlimited vision with scans, unlimited mules, and BYUN can afford to even throw more SCVs away potentially here once he maxes out and starts floating money. Now, we don't have a mothership in this game. She's very slow. She's very expensive, especially against Mass Viking. Recall would be really effective for her, though. Stalkers on this side. We'll be able to take care of the Liberator. Nice defense for ZOUN. Only 1 High Templar. I really want to see ZOUN have maybe 3 to 4 High Templar, 1 on this high ground on the right, 1 out here in between the Skibbity Forest, and then maybe 1 or 2 with the army scattered around. But 8 Archons is a problem, guys, because when you make a lot of Archons and they have time to respond, EMPs come down, the High Templars lose their storms. Disruptor flank comes in, does take out 2 Marauders. But dude, the Archons are so weak now that the ghost count is growing. Archons taking down a few Vikings, but they get gunned down so easily. Archons are not a solid combat unit, guys. They are a quick remax unit that you want to fight with immediately before your opponent's ready for it. Stalkers come forward, get a bit of damage on the Vikings, but not that much. Where are the Tempests? They've all died in this game. This is 7 carriers, 5 Tempests, 4 Colossus, 19 Phoenix going down, and it feels like ZOUN has given up on the air army and said, okay, I'll swap back to ground. You've got 14 Vikings. Oh, but his ball's caught out again! ZOUN's Disruptor management not quite there on Neon Violet. It's such a big map. It's been a long time since the players have played on a map this big. And I think you can see that sometimes they are a little bit out of practice playing on such a vast map. You can just see the placement of some of these engagements not quite right. And ZOUN's going to have to give this base up. BYUN with 5,000 minerals, 2,000 gas in the bank. Absolutely marauding. Big flank comes around the right side as those units scoop in. Oh, the Disruptor not able to connect, though. None of these Disruptors doing anything except the one that kills 4 Zealots and 1 Ghost. Oh, this is devastating. Dude, ZOUN. 10,000 resources more efficient. Even with the mass warpins, I'm pretty sure ZOUN has to be done for after these fights, right? Can he get the full medevac, maybe? Actually, wait. Can he get the full medevac? No, he targets every medevac except the full one, but the full one does panic and unload on the retreat. The supply's close right now, and there is only 8 barracks, which you could argue with 4,500 minerals. Only 8 barracks is a mistake. Also, only orbitals on these edge bases. BYUN, dude, he didn't get a planetary up. He didn't actually establish a new expansion properly. No planetary. Oh, no. He's going to lose his orbital on the top right. The one on the bottom left's denied. Dude, don't tell me BYUN, after all those good fights, has managed to throw this game. I don't even know if I'd call it a throw or just how hard it is to actually push into Protoss on this map, because defender's advantage is so big on a giant map like Neon Violet. Tempests are coming out. We've got a few High Templar, a few Disruptors, Stalkers, Dark Templar, and Zealots. Killing orbitals would be juicy. That's all I'd go for here with the Stalkers, but it looks like with the libs nearby, he's not going to be able to get in. 3-3 on the air, 3-3 on the ground for BYUN. Meanwhile, it's 3-2-1 on the ground for Protoss. That's +1 shields and +3 in the air. No air armor. No +2 plasma shields. Definitely some upgrades still missing for ZOUN, and understandably so. He doesn't have the money to start upgrades this late in the game. He's going to try and take this top right base. Liberator does spot this, and going to just siege up on top to cause a nuisance. Alright, BYUN's still mass scanning the middle of the map, making sure there's no observers, making sure he doesn't move into anything. Surprisingly, there is still an observer there and there. He is aware of this base in the bottom left trying to be taken. Storm plus Disruptors coming forward. Nicely done. A couple Marauders and Marines going down, just eating those storms. BYUN playing a very cavalier style. Gonna need a few more High Templar, though. Just 2 High Templars, not that many. He can energy recharge to give himself 3 more storms. Single Marine goes down. This base is going to fall. If ZOUN gets separated from his top right expansions, if BYUN kills this expansion, moves top right, he wins the game. BYUN just needs to not get baited into the splash. If he just runs away to the right side, I honestly think ZOUN might be screwed. Yet BYUN says, dude, I can push through and just kill his army. I don't need to respect this guy at all. Tempest and Stalker are 2 of the most flaccid units in the game. I have dudes with stim packs and guns. Have you ever done meth before going into a combat zone? You haven't? Okay, you wouldn't understand what it's like to be a great stormtrooper here of the Imperial Caprulu friggin', what are they called? The Sons of Korhal. Absolutely ridiculous devastation as BYUN pushes through once again. Zero fear and just crushes into ZOUN. A few Stalkers on the flank, slowly cleaning those libs on the right side. A Dark Templar starts to kill a few Marauders, but I don't think there's any coming back from this one. It's just too many fights going in the favor of BYUN in a row. And I think there's 2 things we have to point out in this game. Well, one thing. Splash damage management. ZOUN lost 3 Disruptors in the open on 2 different occasions. Other occasions, his Disruptor shots weren't that great, and he never really had the big, massive flanking High Templar that came in at a clutch time and saved him when BYUN pushed in. So there was just not that expert utilization of the splash damage at the right time. The splash damage got caught out far too many times, and that was it. The Sons of Korhal was StarCraft 1. Oh, I guess they changed their name to the Dominion or something? I don't know what they changed it to. I guess it was the Dominion once he got in power. But the core was still the Sons of Korhal. They still have that stupid whip icon. They're like, guys, we're freedom fighters. And you're like, your logo is a whip. Come on, man. Guys, you're signing up for the baddies. All right. We got ZOUN in the bottom left side of the map. Just a few too many times of those Disruptors getting caught out in the middle. And that combined with not really having the backup High Templar or something. But BYUN was able to catch the Disruptors, run in, and just do way too much damage, like multiple times. Now, this is one of the very first probes going across, guys. This is a proxy second gate build, old school. In 2020, 2019, when ZOUN was coming into his own and first starting to reach the top, back onto the 2K Atmospheres map pool, this was a very popular build. So it's pylon, gate, pylon, gas, second gate. Does he have to cut another probe here? Oh, surely we build another probe. Yeah, it's just delayed slightly. So there's slight gaps in probe production to squeeze this in. Then you go Cybercore at home. But, of course, he doesn't need to do it till this gateway is done. That's when Cybercore unlocks in 5 seconds to queue up one more probe. He's actually pulled 3 workers off minerals onto gas. And Cybercore's going to go down instantly. There we go. Cybercore goes down. Now, normally you want to build a Zealot from home. 100 minerals. Zealot starts. Yeah. But he's going to save all of his chronos. Now, the way this works, guys, you rally Stalkers from the front and Adepts from home. Because the Adepts can shade across the map very quickly. Whilst the Stalkers, obviously, are the better combat unit, longer range. They'll get there much closer. Now, problem, BYUN's on the high ground. And a lot of the Terrans recently have done what I call the Omega Virgin opening. It's because every Terran refuses to scout at pro level in this matchup, they always go double gas a lot of the time. But not only double gas, they sometimes go double gas into command center on the high ground, which is such a ridiculously safe opening because you're delaying your command center to get a fast factory and you're building your command center on the high ground. It's just so safe. But BYUN does not want to do that. I call it the Omega Virgin build because it's like if the Protoss is just playing a Nexus before core macro build, you do end up really behind in workers. But we'll see what's happened. Hey, Pig, what is Maynard doing? I haven't seen him in years. Well, you should go check out his stream, twitch.tv/Maynard. He's playing through Kingdom Come Deliverance at the moment. I don't know if he's live just yet. I think he still takes weekends off, but pretty much every day, around the same time I'm streaming, you can see his stream. Stalker comes in, cancels the command center. He does a lot of, variety game streaming, living his best life, enjoying himself. No, he got burnt out on StarCraft, that's all. Kind of brutal, all the travel to events from Australia, and just kind of, he stopped enjoying playing it himself, and he said, I'm not enjoying playing it anymore, it's making me rage too much. You know what? Probably time to stop commentating as well. And I really love Maynard for that, because I think a lot of people will just keep doing things, even when the passion isn't there. Speaking of passion, these Stalkers, Zealot and Adept doing crazy damage, dude. Oh my gosh, this is paying off, guys. 6 SCVs and a command center cancel. ZOUN taking BYUN to Pound Town right now. If he can focus that Reaper, that would be huge. The Reddit Point Reaper, maybe. But it's a bit risky running up that ramp, especially since the Reapers can grenade you. The SCVs can surround you. But so far, great damage, guys. Trading a Zealot and Adept, as well as having to build a forward gateway to get 8 workers done is massive. Unfortunately, the Nexus only now starting. What? Oh, what? Wait, why do you build a shield battery at home, guys? There's no way that's necessary. Because you've got Stalkers rallying out at home. I can't imagine you need that. But I guess he just wanted to make sure he didn't take extra damage. Interesting. It's odd to me. It doesn't feel like it would be necessary, but hey, to each his own. ZOUN playing exceptionally safe in the follow-up. I'm just worried that such a good opening, if it doesn't convert to a victory, would be devastating for his chances against BYUN in this series. One Stalker goes down, second Stalker barely gets out of there. Oh, this is huge right now for BYUN. He's taking down all those units. And if the Cyclone and the Reapers could take care of those Adepts, that would be game-changing. Oh my gosh, they outrange the Adepts. Look at the micro for BYUN. Dude, he gets so much value. Oh no, I feel like BYUN was dead, and now he's back in it. Like, he's still in an awkward spot. 21 workers versus 29. Oh, Dark Shrine in the corner. Okay, that could just be a game winner. I mean, there is a second wave of cheeky BS from ZOUN, but yeah, I just think this Nexus was later than it needed to be, and I think it should have been a bit faster. As well as the shield battery. I also wonder, can you take the Nexus off single gas? Or I guess you'd probably have to go second gas so you can't keep up Stalker production. You'd have to delay Warp Gate far too long if you wanted to do that. Though maybe that's an option with a cheesy build like this. Adepts and Stalkers getting picked off. That Cyclone has 6 kills, guys. 6 Protoss unit kills. Oh my gosh, now 7. Dude, this Cyclone killed everything. This Cyclone is the MVP. It's got 8 kills. You guys have got to realize 8 kills against Zerg is not that impressive. 8 kills against Protoss. It's like friggin' having, you guys know when hunters have like the friggin' deer antlers on the wall above the fireplace. This is like you've gone to this Cyclone's hunting cabin on the wall. You're like, is that up? Is that there? And he's just nodding at you. He's like, yeah, it is. And you're like, is that Sylvester Stallone's head? He's like, I did hunt him in the forest and murder and skin him and mount his head on my wall. You're like, oh, wait, is that Arnold? Is that Arnold? He's like, yeah, we replaced him with an AI to become governor. But yeah, I hunted him down. He's got like, and then you get to the end of the line and the ultimate one, it's framed in gold. You're like, is that Steven Seagal? And he's like, yep, I killed the goat as well. What can I say? Hung his head up there. The greatest action hero of them all, of the 90s. Steven Seagal, you know, unmatched, unparalleled, undefeated. Raven comes out in time. Dude, I can't believe it. I didn't realize he was building a Raven. He's actually going to block the DTs. Dude, ZOUN, this is such a sad game for ZOUN. ZOUN's actually just dead now, right? He's only up 6 workers. BYUN has a drop outside pinning him. A second and third barracks are both, well, third barracks is coming up, second barracks is landing. this is... BYUN just got out of such a devastating potential early game. And now he knows there's Dark Templar. The Raven was perfectly timed. I mean, the units lost tab 2-1 in his favor. And ZOUN's also got 3 shield batteries and like only 3 stalkers. He starts a third base in charge, but beyond seeing this, I would lock onto that Nexus if I was him. It's so low hit points. If he locks onto it, yeah, he gets it cancelled either way. Dude, the value is just out of this world. Look at the production tab. ZOUN doesn't have an upgrade. He's just making 3 gate. He has no blink. He's just making 3 gate. His stalkers are on the wrong side. I mean, this is just a ridiculous game, and ZOUN might rage quit at any moment. ZOUN is, like I said, he has so many different build orders, such range as a player. I think what we're seeing in this game is why a lot of players don't have that range anymore. We see more of an obsessiveness with perfectionism and execution more than ever, especially if you watch a lot of Max Clem repeatedly, right? Whereas ZOUN will play the greediest macro build to straight to late game in that last game, into a really cheesy aggressive opening in this game, and anywhere in between. And when you practice like that, I think you're so hard to play against for the opponents because you're so unpredictable. On the other hand, you haven't really practiced any of your builds very much, and there will be just little mistakes and things that pop up a little bit higher frequency than for other players. Now, Stalkers and Zealots starting to move forward. He's making a proxy gate, so he's going to go for like a 7-8 gate charge all in by the looks of it. This drop does get spotted here, which is quite nice. 3 Stalkers are at home. He's going to come down there with... Probes are going to try and fight this. Oh, decent little surround there, especially with the shield battery healing. I think as long as you're walled off, and look at that, he's building bunkers. ZOUN's dead. It's a 2-base all in. He knows about it. There's a Raven on the left, a drop on the right, and he's got a triple bunker wall off with a second layer of wall here with only 1 opening on that left side. I mean, this is... There's no way you got a tank on the high ground. Stim's done. Shields and +1 are about to finish. It's game over, and ZOUN will tap out, seeing that BYUN is ready for it. BYUN with a cool, calm defense of a very intense opening, and I think we have to point out that opening, and I really don't think the shield battery was necessary. Let's take a look. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. You're building your first Adept from home, your Stalker from the front. Queue up another Stalker is really important, and he does queue it up now. But yeah, there's no second gas off this build, so why would you take a second gas now, guys? Surely getting the Nexus is more important, isn't it? His third pylon's perfectly timed. Cancels the base. Zealot's there. And then he drops the second gas probes and then builds a shield battery. This makes no sense. I get there might be a Reaper coming across the map, but even if a Reaper comes in, it's maybe going to get a probe. You could do a bit of probe micro. There'll be a new unit coming out. I don't think it's really worth respecting this that much. And I do think 75 minerals, 100 minerals, 175 minerals. Cut probe production, save those minerals, and you've got, that probe is 50, that brings you to 225. 225 plus 125, you're basically enough minerals for a Nexus. Just build a Nexus here. You get exactly the same damage done on the front. You're just as safe at home, and you're miles ahead. Instead, that Nexus doesn't go down. I think it's 330. Yeah, 330. That's crazy. 325. That's such a big delay on the Nexus. I think this opening really hurt ZOUN. Don't get me wrong, there's an argument you need Blink or whatever, but he wasn't even able to use the Twilight. I guess he's trying to go for really quick Dark Templar follow-up. I don't know. If he was planning that from the start, I would have liked to see the gas even earlier and the Twilight even earlier, and this be more of a pointed thing. For me, it's like, if you want to gamble on the Dark Templar, delay your Nexus even more, rush the Dark Templar even more. Otherwise, do it the other way around. Obviously, easy to be critical from my high chair over here, getting to see everything. I say high chair, yeah, like a baby, because that's what casters are. We get to see everything. Players don't. But I love the idea for ZOUN. I just imagine if that Dark Templar came in 30 seconds earlier as well, right? Because like everything was just, yeah. I mean, the Raven actually was out way ahead of the Dark Templar. No, perfectly timed. Exact same time the Dark Templar came in, the Raven arrived. BYUN, perfect play. Great game too. All right, guys. ZOUN in the top right on his last life. I really feel that early start killing 8 SCVs should have been game ending, but it is what it is. He's not going to get shook. The great thing about ZOUN is I get the very clear idea every single time I watch ZOUN play. He has his build decided before the game starts. And obviously, those of you who are familiar with Zest back in the day know that that's exactly how Zest played. And this is the scariest kind of Protoss player. I always say that it doesn't matter what matchup I'm playing, Protoss versus Terran, Zerg versus Protoss, Terran versus Protoss, or Protoss versus Protoss, if I'm playing a Protoss player and I don't know how they play, it is a nightmare. Because they could be a player like ZOUN who picks their build before the game starts and does this beautifully well planned out build, and they have all these different styles they can play. Versus the players who are more like reactive macro players who try to scout and adapt to what's going on, and they play very solid standard styles but with a much more limited range. You know, your max pack style these days would have been classically stats, Showtime, Neeb, these sorts of guys would kind of do that. Maybe Neeb not quite as much. Neeb had a bit more range than the other guys, which I think is part of why his success was so great during his career. You know, Neeb had some amazing victories and runs and stuff because he'd mix in such good timing attacks. But point being, if you play against them, it's such a different style against the guy who has the build that's really tight and well defined before the game starts versus the god tier macro player. And you can see, you know, there are more chances for comebacks and to find big holes and mistakes in your opponent's play against the guys who pick their build sometimes. But also you have to be much more wary of the attacks they'll pull out. Like ZOUN will hit you with much more surprising, fiercer attacks than Max Packs normally will. Double gas once again, guys. It's the double gas build. Sentry into Stargate is what he normally does. But remember, part of the joy of having an opening like this is it is flexible. You could still just go Twilight and go Blink here because you've already shown this opening into Phoenix. So BYUN might be like, oh, I see an early hallucination. I assume you're playing Phoenix, therefore I won't do a drop pressure. I'll go straight to 3 barracks, stim shields, you know, and just play, you know, straight to the mid game. And that's something you can take advantage of with a blink aggression up onto the high ground, right? Pick off stim, get some damage, start to snowball it. Stalker coming out after the sentry. Hallucination comes in. That's going to be really key because you want to see, hey, this was reactor first into Reaper production. And it looks like he's going to see it here. Yeah, he sees 2 Reapers. Command center on the low ground. Reactor pumping away units. And I think we saw the Reapers just get cancelled and Marines get built instead. I think he was planning to do probably 4 Reaper, 2 Hellion maybe. But after getting scouted, BYUN's just going to chill. He'll make a single Widow Mine for defense. And then he should go forwards. Now, one problem with BYUN's placement, guys. Stalkers can blink from there to here. So you want to build your buildings normally like here, right? And then you can have your tank nestled behind it. And that can shell on the Stalkers as soon as they blink in. Something you have to keep an eye out for is this is the Twilight Council variation. One could argue this is predictable if you know how ZOUN plays. He opened Stargate off this opening earlier in the series that he's going to swap it up here. Now, committing up that ramp is what I would call the madman's ploy. That's the I hope my opponent panics and just doesn't force field. A little bit crazy for BYUN. I mean, I guess he delays mining for 2 probes by a second. But nothing too wild. Now, ZOUN obviously sacrifices a bit of economy doing this opening to get all this early gas out, but another hallucination will follow it up, and it's just going to be a little Marine mine drop to poke across. Yeah, I guess he figures, hey, you know what? I doubt you're going Phoenix again. I don't think so, dude. He's making that assumption. Stalker's coming out. Can he get one? Oh, one more shot. Gets it. Nice. Good grenade attempt, but not quite enough to hold him back. And Hallucinated Phoenix does see the drop coming. A bit better if you keep it alive, because then you can see where the drop's coming from and intercept it. If you can get even 3 or 4 Stalker shots on a medevac before it comes to your base, flying into the base becomes a much scarier choice for the Terran because there's so many more chances of it getting shot down. Keep in mind, the way high-level players think of these things is time to kill. So when you're facing Stalkers, it's 9 Stalker shots to kill this. If you take 4 Stalker shots, you're down to just 5 Stalker shots to kill. So if you think about it, well, I guess once you take even just 3 shots, it's 2 pair. If you've got 3 Stalkers there, they'll 2-shot it, right? And that's always scary, but shield battery's ready. No actual Stalkers in position, though. Third Nexus is on the way, as well as a Robo to add to that second one. Now, the Marines actually don't drop there. Didn't want to reveal, I guess, his Marine play. Does finally let the Widow Mine fire, and he gets out. I think it's the right choice there. He's a bit too deep, is BYUN. You don't want to throw the medevac away. Reaper out front has seen the third base. He's kind of just chilling right now. Stalkers will move forward and take care of him. Tank is building number 1. Number 2 tank is now building. The building placement... Yeah, I don't like this. So the reason this building placement sucks, number 1, they're not in a straight line. So where are you going to put your tanks if you are facing 4-gate blink? Number 2, if your tank's all the way back here, yes, it's safe. But look, he can blink in, wait for blink to cool down, and then run forward and blink on top and kill your siege tank. So I do think Clem has the best anti-4-gate in the game. And oh, ZOUN just found the Raven in the bottom right. BYUN with some crying face. ZOUN says Z. I think he meant to have his keyboard on Korean, but it was actually accidentally on English. So, don't know what's on the ZE keys, what that would have said in Korean. I don't speak Koreans anyways. Don't read the Hangul's, but yeah. Okay, Forge is almost finished. How many gateways is this going to be? That's 2 gates there, going up to 6, 7. Charge +1. He always goes +1 attack. Now remember, guys, when you play Heavy Zealot, armor is a much better upgrade. ZOUN always goes attack. Now the reason he goes attack is he believes it's the better upgrade. I will have a debate with him. It's wrong. He's wrong. Armor is better in this scenario. Don't get me wrong. If you're planning to go quick Colossus, okay, there we go. Robo Bay goes down. He's totally right. It looked like he was going to stick on Zealots for a while with just 1 sentry, but 2nd sentry, Immortal, and a quick Robo Bay. Keep in mind, the whole decision-making process around this is if you're going quick Colossus, you do need the attack upgrades. +2, really important. +1, really important. If you're going to stick on Mass Zealot Phoenix or Mass Zealot Stalker for a while, going for the armor upgrade first is usually better. But in this scenario, I'd actually say +2 attack, then +1 armor is the priority. Now, the reason +1 armor becomes a priority is it's so much cheaper, 100 minerals, 100 gas, compared to +3 attack, and it upgrades about a minute faster, maybe more than a minute than +3. So that's why the low-level armor upgrades actually become really high value later on, even if you would prefer the attack upgrades. Marines are going to stem in. Cute move by BYUN, guys. He's got his Stalkers on the front. The army's not quite there. Marines able to get through the battery. Who needs combat shields? You just need guns and stim. Gets himself 3 probes, mining time, and more importantly than anything, he distracts him. Look at this. Now the medevacs arrive in the front. The tanks are going to try to get that good position. There are 2 Immortals out. If those Immortals get in range of the tanks, it could be big. BYUN Sieges, just out of range of the Nexus, but good position. Force fields could be big, though. Force fields could be big if he could trap this bio. Notice ZOUN's rotating through the middle line. He wants to come in from that right side. Still got a pylon for warping him in the back. Not many Zealots. They're coming in from the left. Zealots coming in from the left. They're going to go for the tanks. Zealot flank comes in. They take a few big tank shots, but 1 tank will fall very quickly if that Immortal can focus that tank down, which it does. It's going to go down, and that is a beautiful hold for ZOUN. Getting rid of that Raven, I think a massive momentum shifter in this game. If that Raven had been harassing him this whole time, I think this would be much harder to pull off. Stalkers, Immortals, and Zealots chasing. I think the blink back there, it's not a bad move, especially if these medevacs don't boost home. One of them will go down there. The other one boosts back. Good micro for BYUN to salvage some units. A few Marines in the main try to damage a gateway. Stalkers do scare that one back. And it is going to be +2 attack as our first Colossus will be starting with the next 200 gas. You can see he's got the Robo selected. He's going click, 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 click. 200 gas comes in. And we should be seeing extended thermal lance. Mate, no way. Dude, you got to build a Colossus first. You can't be... he's got 1 out, but still. He's a bit gas-starved. He needs to start that second Colossus. Macro faltering a little bit here. Oh, Stalkers intercept the drop up top. Really nice to spot that rotation as ZOUN tries to take his 4th base. He's building a Prism now off 1 Colossus. Dude, ZOUN's feeling so confident. He's not worried, which I think could be a problem because I think Colossus are absolutely integral here. This is going to be fascinating. Can he hold on to the 4th? If he can, it'll be good for him. But if he loses this 4th, he may regret not building a 2nd Colossus here earlier. Oh, 1 Colossus comes up. The Immortal goes down. Great pick off there. And, oh, Widowmine's going to fire on the Zealots. I think you're fine to take that hit as ZOUN. As long as you get rid of these Widowmines and clear this out. Yeah, that's going to get defended in the south, though. What happens down there? Bit of a Bioforce, few Stalkers, Immortal, couple of Zealots. Gonna have to recall from the top as he did get rid of every single Marauder up top died. I thought BYUN would have pulled out there. But BYUN potentially overcommitting as well. His units are massively overstimmed. And how many medevacs? 7 medevacs, but no Vikings right now for BYUN. BYUN needs to go for the Ghost Academy, and I would not be surprised to see him lift that factory and build a starport there. No 4th command center. His 3rd base actually only now going to an orbital. That is a pretty late 4th. Was this a 5-Rex before? Did he go 5-Rex before 3rd command center? It might have been. Wow, good observing and casting, Pig. Not even picking up on the fact that BYUN was kind of 2 base all in there. Now, the Prism definitely was not, I think, the right choice there. I think more Colossus just to survive is way more important. He's only got a 2nd Colossus popping out now. Needs a 3rd Colossus as well. Does start that one immediately. Vision-wise, ZOUN's struggling. He's got 1 observer on the other side. No defensive observers, though, which means he can't really see what the army split is. His army's pretty well covered right now in that he's splitting it half north, half south. Maybe a few too many units on the south, more than is necessary. Zealots take a few big mines, but the mines hit the medevacs as well. If the Stalkers are able to blink on that at all, they can finish those medevacs off. Stalker, Zealot, Colossus in the north doing okay. Southern Army has to have a lot more units because there's no splash damage down here. Otherwise, you can't defend. BYUN finally builds an armory. 2nd eBay builds them out front just because he had extra workers there. So he figures, why not? No 2nd starport for a long time for him in this game. He's getting decent little trades, but those Colossus, man, they're going to roast you if you run into that with damage bio. Feels like BYUN's taking fights with diminishing returns. He's ahead 300 resources in the units lost. Not as good as you'd like as a Terran. And if he keeps overcommitting like that, we can see Zealots are ready to run in the third. The Prism's going to hit the main. I don't think ZOUN should pull the trigger on this until his army engages. I think it's so much because BYUN's whole army is at home. There's no way he could defend this if the frontal push was hitting him at the same time. But if it's on its own, look at that. Clean, calm handling. He's expecting this Prism, shuts it down. ZOUN does pull the Zealots back on the south at least, but really good handling. Oh, he must have spotted them. He must have spotted those Zealots. The Zealots barely slip away, though. They do pull to that right side. Okay. Disruptor's coming out, +3 attack. 2 more gateways coming in. Robo there as well. Stalkers blink forward. Medivacs go down. Triple Medivac snipe. ZOUN's large, and he's in charge of this game right now. ZOUN will not be going down without a fight. Remember, he caught that Raven earlier. He did not take much damage to the first drop. He's got 4 mineral lines going on the 4 gases. Actually, he's only on 3 gases, guys. He's playing the 3 gas style. Hero's been doing this a bit as well. I think taking a second Robo with 3 gas is a little bit maniacal, especially as his main base gas will mine out in the next 3 minutes, but we'll see which way it goes. 3 minutes, more like 4.5 minutes, actually. Never mind. It takes a while for those main base gases to be gone. I think it's like 112 per minute per gas geyser. Is that right, guys? 112, 150? I'm actually not sure. How much gas do you get per geyser? Or per base, because then we can just divide it by 2 per minute. I'm trying to think of what that income, because I know it's about 850 to 900 minerals for a fully mining base. Maybe it's 300 gas? 150 per minute per geyser? Zealots come in on that command center on the left side. Marine does go down, but good defense. BYUN's doing a good job of splitting his army. If BYUN can max out and fight with 2-2 with a good Viking count, he can totally turn this around, but he needs more Vikings. He's building 2 medevacs right now. If he can get out 3, 4 more Vikings at most, I think 9 to 10 Vikings is optimal here, then he could be in a good spot. Command center in the top left, so vulnerable though. He feels so fragile right now, and I think having the eBay and the armory out here really is not helping, and this is actually just making it really obstructed. Oh my lord. The flanking disruptor just comes in for the rally point. ZOUN kills like 4 ghosts without the Stalkers blink forward. They want to get rid of the Vikings. The Zealots in the south are owning. The Stalkers killing the Vikings. BYUN takes a ball to the face, and things go bad real quick. Let's watch that again, guys. Here we go. Oh, that literally was 4 ghosts, a few Marines, and 3 Marauders put down to just 25 hit points. Wow. And BYUN angrily tries to chase down the Protoss to punish him, but he's the one who ends up getting punished. Nice comeback here for ZOUN. Gets a point on the board. All right, guys. ZOUN's back on the comeback train. He's going to be going for a gateway into gas on El Dorado. No scout. I like it. No scout, mixing it up. BYUN has been doing a double... Oh, he's not doing a double gas. I was going to say he's doing double gas every game. You can expect what's going to happen. But no, BYUN's actually changing it up. He's going 1 Rax expand by the looks of it. Because normally the second gas starts before 1 minute at about 55 seconds. And of course, he's not doing that this time. So interesting to see. Double gas build again for ZOUN. I mean, okay, I guess it makes sense, right? ZOUN does like this double gas. But I love that he did the proxy gate on ultra. I mean, I really think this should be 2-1 in ZOUN's favor. If he'd done that just perfectly. It was such a good surprise and a good start, but this is just me watching Protoss games recently. You guys are probably sick of me being like, oh, this should be 2-1 for Hero. This should be 3-2 for Hero, but instead it's 1-3 against him. Oh no. It's just like there's this common thing with like these aggressive Protoss builds against Terran, especially like looking like they're working, and then the Terran just wriggles their way out of trouble. I feel like the modern top Terrans, especially the BYUNs and Clems of this world, they're the ultimate scramblers. You know, the Protoss players are the jiu-jitsu experts in the heavyweight division, and then the Terrans are the Derek Lewises who just stand up because they don't care. And you're like, but he literally, what? The other guy's like on top of him, and he's like, I'm just gonna stand up. Jiu-jitsu's stupid, you know? And you're like, okay, this is dumb, but effective. Dumb but effective. Sometimes things we see in games that have a very vast range of skills to them, like StarCraft. Why does ZOUN always start the Zealot and cancel it? In case your Nexus gets cancelled, gets eBay blocked. Yeah. It's a good question. Yeah, basically, if an eBay block comes in, your Zealot can clear it out. I don't really think letting the Zealot finish to clear it out is the most effective, but... Here we go, Stalker Sentry start. Okay, so problem for ZOUN, guys. So far, we have seen Hallucination open into Phoenix, then Hallucination opening into Blink, then Hallucination opening to Phoenix. I would not be surprised if BYUN's like, hey, it's Stargate this time, right? You're on schedule, right? Because the thing is, like, sometimes, remember, there's a poker element to StarCraft. Used to be a much bigger poker element to StarCraft 2, not as much anymore, due to the kind of normalized early game with the fast 3 bases pretty much every game. But yeah, there is an element where you're like, your opponent's playing too properly, like ZOUN, where he's like, well, I do this build, and then rather than doing it twice in a row, then I do the other variation, then I do the first variation again. If you alternate too much, it's not actually random, it's entirely predictable. So sometimes in order to stay unpredictable, you actually do need to do the same variation twice in a row. You know, you've got to make sure you mix things up, and human brains are very bad at randomizing things, where this could actually feel to ZOUN like he's doing something random when he's not. Now, that's a fast Twilight. He's playing Zealot Phoenix Charge. Phoenix Charge, ladies and gentlemen. He's playing Phoenix Charge. Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, me, oh, my. I'm very excited, guys. Phoenix Charge is my favorite way to play, but he's going Shield Battery on 2 base with no 3rd. I guess because he knows the Cyclone Viking is coming. If you go early Charge... I actually like sneaking the corner base on this map. I think that's the best way to do it against this opening. Because if BYUN keeps building Vikings, tanks, Cyclones, and really pushes, I think if you can get a corner base up, starting in about 5 minutes while you're defending with 3 to 4 gate and an early charge, that can be amazing. Charge needs to start, though. ZOUN waiting for 100 gas, 100 gas, 100 gas. Phoenix out there scaring him. He needs to start charge, mate. He's got it. There we go. 100 gas finally is there. This is the problem. You do cut Phoenix production now to do this. So he's only got 3 Phoenix. He's got 3rd gateway coming up. He's thinking about taking a 3rd in the normal location. He's going to try and defend that, but this push is coming. A few Marines, Viking, Cyclone. BYUN takes a 3rd on location behind it. The greedy boy. Widowmine did not fire. That was just an Adept Shade that we saw moving out. In case you were wondering. Units lost tab 0 on both sides. Marines defend the units there. Extra Viking, extra tank coming into 2nd tank. This is going to be tight. He should absolutely just sacrifice a probe on that. Yeah. Super work. Get rid of that Widowmine before this push gets started. Very important. Phoenix still see the army here. He's not sure which side he's going to push on. ZOUN trying to keep track of him. Charge. More than halfway done. There's only 3 gateways, but I think that should be just right. Now, for BYUN, if he knew what was happening, if he'd seen the Twilight, he should go home, turtle up, and just lift his 3rd command center and defend his natural. Start walling it off. If he walks into charge Zealot Phoenix, ZOUN might get exactly the engagement that he's looking for. This is only 4 Phoenix, but he fights the Marines head on like a Mega Chad. Holy crudsicles, dude! He could actually have killed the medevac. Those were SCVs, not Marines. Nonetheless, great defensive setup here for ZOUN. Bunkers are going to build on the low ground. That's a crazy move for BYUN. BYUN committing hardcore to attack, but the charge is not quite done. There we go. Okay, charge finishes at the perfect time. Phoenix picking up the tank. Absolutely Shrek. You do not want to be doing a non-stim push into charge. BYUN was not expecting that. And the moment those charge alerts came down, he knew he severely misjudged what was happening. ZOUN here getting 100% vision and denying BYUN's vision with this lovely double gas sentry opening into Phoenix. I love this build for ZOUN. It's so good. All right, guys, we found our way back to game 5. ZOUN in the bottom left side of ley lines, BYUN in the top right. And we've got a question from Jegget about the double gas build. Isn't it just better to skip the sentry and just scout with your first chrono boosted Phoenix? Well, the Phoenix would be out way earlier and would scout pretty fast as well. It would not as early, but pretty early for sure, Jugget. Problem, then they know you've gone Phoenix. So the whole power of a Phoenix build is hiding it from your opponent. And that's what ZOUN's double gas build is all about. It's number 1, you can't tell I've gone Stargate because I've got my sentry out, but I'm also walling the ledge. I am scouting with my hallucination to see if I need to adjust to anything without revealing the Phoenix. And the reason is, Phoenix are basically the best unit ever if Terran tries to do some sort of early medevac pressure or even a frontal pressure to you. Because that's when the Phoenix show up as a surprise, shut down the drop, often kill all of the Terran units, like that triple mine drop we saw in game 1. And then you're just in a really good spot from there. I know he lost that game on Neon Violet, but still. So the power of Phoenix is your opponent not knowing you're going for them. It's hiding them. So, you know, if you're confident at your level just playing Phoenix, you don't care if your opponent scouts them, you can scout with the first Phoenix, check what's going on, and that's a perfectly fine way of playing. Your Phoenix are out a bit earlier. It's a more standard build. That's fine, but at this level, if you can get your opponent to go for an early scout or pressure with a medevac, a marine drop, a mine drop, your Phoenix clean that whole thing up, you are just off to the races. But if they know you're going Phoenix from the start, the Terran doesn't need to build tanks or Ravens. They go straight to Stim, Shields, and Medevacs. And at 6.5 minutes, you've got a bio army of mass marine marauder medevacs barreling across the map onto your doorstep and ruining your day. Which you're like, oh, damn, how is this out so early? Well, it's because they didn't spend time building tanks and ravens, you know, to defend against observers and blink stalkers. They didn't build drops or mines to go do harassment. There's actually a lot of things that normally a Terran player has to build when they're in the dark, or chooses to build that slow down them getting to stim, shields, +1 and medevacs. The things that allow the Terran to have that mobile force in the mid-game. And remember, once you have that mobile force in the mid-game of Marines and Marauders that are upgraded with medevacs, Phoenix fall off a cliff. They are no longer a good unit. That's what, of course, the players are looking out for here. Now, ZOUN will be going Twilight Council over here. Not going to be able to hide it with this pylon positioning. There we go, yeah. Twilight Council goes right there. Build another pylon probably here at some point. Maybe build a pylon right up against it, actually, to power all three. Starport goes down. Hellion for scouting. BYUN. Look at this, guys. He didn't scout. Can you believe it? BYUN not scouting? It's the same thing he does every game. He never scouts. He did go for a command center on the high ground again, but it's a pretty normal time. You know, it's a 1 Rax expand. It's not a double gas build. And this was not the double gas build for ZOUN either. This is a more traditional opening. Adept, Twilight. Now he builds a Sentry. That'll be his first scout. 2 Adepts into Sentry, sorry. Big thanks to Thorian for the 3-month resub. Appreciate it. Roddy's greatest weakness is that you already know that he's building Phoenix. That's true. That's why his PvZ opening's quite good, because he goes Glaives first. It's funny, because I was playing Zealot Phoenix for a long time, and I actually play Oracle into Charge now. But I actually don't build Phoenix almost ever anymore, right? I'll only build them reactively. And it's kind of been interesting to see that style. Because of the stasis traps plus early stalkers combo is so good, even without blink. That's kind of the whole linchpin of my entire PvT at the moment, is just spamming stasis traps plus getting out those early 4 to 6 stalkers with it, and then just going into heavy charge, double forge. Very easy style, guys. 3 Hellions going to try to run by the front, while the drop tries to go in the main base. Does he know about the Hellions? If he does, he's got to leave at least 2 Adepts, preferably a Sentry here as well. Warp gates up, second gateway transform. He's going to warp Stalkers into this main base as quickly as possible. If you have 2 Stalkers on the edge, hitting him early, it's very dangerous to commit past that. ZOUN warps into Stalker. He's ready. He's not sure if the units are going to join up on the front. He sees the medevac. Ah, BYUN goes for the low ground Bonanza. I love the low ground Bonanza. Good play, good play. He's going to try and get that pylon. This pylon will power all of those buildings, I believe. Stalker Sentry on the high ground. Uh-oh. Pylon goes down. Does cancel the warping and Stalker. You do get a full refund for that, though. Just has to warp it in again. Remember, guys, whenever a pylon is flush to a 3x3 building, it can power another 3x3 building on the other side of it. But if you leave a space between the pylon and the building, that's when your production space gets derpy. Like that forge, only 2 spaces between it and the pylon, so that's inefficient placement. Just a small thing you guys want to focus on when you're... If you guys find yourself always running out of space as a Protoss player, which I see so many players do, just remember, if you have a pylon here in the open, you can fit like 12 gateways on it if you build them in a nice compact formation. But most players end up getting maybe 3 or 4 gateways per pylon and then going, I can't build my buildings. Forge, Robo comes in, charge as well. Third Nexus up top for ZOUN. Interesting formation that he's expanding in. Phoenix does see what's going on. Charge has started, but he's only on 2 gas. And I'm sure he's going to go attack again because ZOUN just never plays armor. But he's kind of stuck on Zealots now. Like, I feel like this is going to be really interesting because it's like you need gateways more than anything. Stalkers. Taking a bit more damage than he probably should. Raven comes in. Stalkers deal with it. Hellion drop. Oh, Hellion drop in the main base. The Raven plus move out distraction. And that is a devastating Hellion drop. Really nicely done. 11 probes go down. Army on the front going to arrive at the 3rd. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. This is bad for ZOUN, guys. He's in trouble. The Raven joining up with the army. Stalkers are going to take out the Raven. He drops the auto turret. Does lose the unit, though. He's got no charge yet. He doesn't have an immortal yet. Oh, my God. He blinks forward, but it's no. He gets 1 tank for his entire army. Oh, this is devastating. That is crazy damage. The unupgraded Marines are going to carry the day, man. They're going to kill everything. ZOUN just getting absolutely smashed by the Hellion drop in the main, the Raven in the back, and the Marine tank push on the front. Non-stop unit production by BYUN. And just beautiful play by him. The Immortal gets jumped on as well. This is devastating damage. And what a tragic way for Game 5 to go after such a close series. I think you could tell ZOUN was maybe a little bit closer or a little bit more practiced with the double gas Stargate build. You know, it goes back to a more standard play, but shows nothing like the sort of Max Packs level of I've played this opening 35,000 times level of execution and comfort, and BYUN takes advantage. And that's it. BYUN here just looked a little bit tighter throughout this series. I think ZOUN, build order-wise, it was just next level. I think great build orders, really good play. Just a bit too inconsistent in his execution. There was too many little blunders, unnecessary and often, I wouldn't say unforced errors, but semi-unforced errors. A few too many holes. So, yeah, he should be dead from here. BYUN's just going to gather his forces. He'll drop the main, and then he'll push the front once he gets a few more units out. He's just got to actually produce units. He's taken a minute to build add-ons and upgrades and SCVs, and you can see there's not many Marines and Marauders building right now. Oh, got a little Widowmine in there. 4 Marines and a Marauder. Widowmine does shoot a probe or 2 down, and it might be time to get out. ZOUN! Wow, he just taps out. I mean, he's like, look, I can't deal with a single medevac. This is a disaster. He's going to tap out. Great series there, though. Good back and forth. I love the build variation from ZOUN. But, dude, it's just as much about execution as it is the build orders in StarCraft, if not more so. And in this case, BYUN comes out on top 3-2. Lovely victory. GG, well played.